There we go. Now you can hear me. Thanks everybody for joining us on this Monday, special Monday show for y'all. Usually we do Sundays 6:30. We are here on Monday to get y'all caught up on all that is happening in the world of sports. And folks, if this is your first time listening to us, or even if it isn't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button and the notification button. We appreciate it. We really want to give a huge shout out. Our last video had, how much was it, B? Like about
it was like 109 views. Thank you, everybody.
109 views. So that's probably the most we've had since doing this, man. So we want to,
I think so,
give a huge shout out. But we also want to be a little petty and say, hey, why not hit that subscribe button? It's so easy. All you got to do is just hover over to the left or right, I think it is on your phone, and hit that subscribe button. And that's all you got to do. One little quick click with the finger will help us out tremendously. So, but we do really appreciate it.
It would.
And we hope we can keep the momentum going.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you all. But yeah, like T said, man, hook a brother up. A few subscribers here and there.
All right.
Keep it new. We want to do more things. It's a little hard with only, when we're losing subscribers. We need more. Bring them on in. Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, of course, we're going to be talking a lot about NBA free agency. It's in the title. Big news coming out of the NBA. First off is your boy Klay Thompson, who is a longtime Golden State Warrior. Obviously, the Warriors drafted him. Brother number 2 of the Splash Brothers for Golden State for a long time now, is officially out of the building. Now he is going to join the Dallas Mavericks. He'll be joining Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in their I guess their opportunity to possibly get back to the finals again. And I gotta say, as a Laker fan, I feel shocked and stupefied. I thought the opportunity to get someone like Klay, who is actually from Southern California, whose father is a Laker, whose father works for the Lakers, that there was an opportunity for the Lakers to get him on the team. LeBron, of course, was taking a pay cut for the opportunity to make a play on a big name player. And of course we struck out. But we could talk a little bit more about that later maybe. But man, what does this mean? You're a Warrior fan. Talk about it. I mean, Klay Thompson's a huge part of what the Warriors dynasty was. What is it like now that guy's gone?
It's rough, to be honest with you. When that news broke, I was like, damn, he really gone.
Yeah.
Like, it was really that bad of a fallout between him and the Warriors. Now, cooler side to prevail. They've said nothing but great things about Klay. Said great things about the Warriors. Warriors said nothing more than great things about Klay. But look, man, at the end of the day, this was a business decision here. The Warriors felt like him moving on was going to be the best move for everybody. I just don't think Klay saw himself as a bench player on this team for that there. And I don't know if that was, for him, a slight role of being disrespected. And honestly, it's not a role of disrespect. It's just knowing where you stand, coming off of 2 knee injury or, two pretty significant injuries at the tail end of your career here, man. No one really starts and plays that amount of minutes with those kind of surgeries here. It's a very limited, but you're not the same player as you once were, 5-6 years ago before these injuries even took place. So the Mavericks are getting themselves a really good sharpshooter here. Klay can still shoot the ball, but I just don't think it was going to fit for him perfectly in Golden State. The signs were there when Golden State wasn't really offering a contract. They took care of everybody else before him. And for Klay, that was another sign of disrespect because he was the pioneer of what took place, with the dynasty here. Yeah. And now you're going to just basically kind of push him to the side where it may have been, hey, let's take care of these little things first. Let's move on to the big one after. And when you look at the contract that the Mavs gave him, 3 years, $51 million, at the beginning of the year, the Warriors offered him a 2-year, $48 million contract with an option for a 3rd year.
Right.
It wasn't that far off
far
as what he was going to make more money to get from the Warriors than he did eventually with the Mavericks here. So I think even before the season started, without getting that contract done, this really was just, a swan song for Klay Thompson here. And it doesn't help when you go 0 for everything in the playing game against Sacramento. that does not help your case of why you should deserve more money from this organization. Um, this year's going to be weird not seeing Klay and Steph in the same backcourt.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. It is going to be very weird. And then, does Draymond guard Klay that first game against the Dallas Mavericks? That would be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, we'll
But
see,
it
man.
sucks, man. It just it sucks to see him go, but you're happy for the guy because he's getting what he wants. He's going to get more playing time, but this is the transition from a dynasty is you're going to have to start seeing your core guys go, but I think he may be the only one because in 2 years Dre and Steph are done I think after this year. So 2 more years of this and then we'll see everybody go after this.
Yeah, man. I think it's definitely, I'm not a Warriors fan obviously, but it's a huge hole in the dynasty that they had. I mean, the thing with Klay Thompson was his capability of getting hot at any particular time of a game and really just taking over a game. And he's done that time and time again, whether it be playoff games or regular season. He was a guy on the floor that was used once one bucket went in, everybody in the room goes, "Uh-oh." And
Yeah.
then he just reels off two, three, four. And these are all threes, folks. These aren't 2-point shots. They're not layups and dunks. We're talking Klay making 5, 6, 7, 8, threes in a game, sometimes in a quarter. So he was one of those guys that was like microwave times 10. And so I think it was I think the time had come, his age, the injuries where he wasn't going to be the same player, and I don't think Klay is in the position mentally where he's ready to accept that. And he'll go to Dallas where I don't know how great the fit is. I think Luka is definitely going to find him in 3-point range, but the sticking point is always going to be how long can he be on the court defensively? Because that was the issue is can we put Klay Thompson in front of folks?
Yeah. And the big thing too is Luka's not that great of a defender himself.
Yeah.
Kyrie's an okay defender. I don't see him being really good on the defensive end as well. And then Klay Thompson just ain't been the same here. So in essence, now you have three potential liabilities on the court at the same time that aren't really good perimeter defenders to say the least. So you're really relying on these guys to really give you a lot of points and kind of substitute with that bad defense that they may encounter with that there. So this is going to be an interesting fit. I think Luka is really going to benefit because it's going to help with a little more of him getting to the lane, knowing they have to respect that Klay Thompson is lurking at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Kyrie's going to benefit from it as well. But when it comes down to it, that final stop, Luka got absolutely manhandled in the Western Conference or in the NBA
In the
finals and in the
finals.
Western
Yeah.
Conference finals as
Yeah.
well. I just don't think he was really good defensively here. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge here. Are you going to try to just outscore your opponent? I know that's the name of the game, but realistically, you still need to play defense when it matters here. And none of those two were even remotely close to it during the finals.
Yeah, I think that Boston showed pretty clearly that if you do have some defense on your side, you're probably going to win because they were playing a high-powered offensive team, and I wouldn't say they shut them down, but they certainly kept them in their place. They didn't get
Yeah.
too wild with the buckets. So let's move on to the Warriors, your team. We'll talk about our teams and kind of the good and the bad of free agency for both our favorite teams, me being the Lakers, be the Warriors. We'll start with the Warriors because they actually did something this offseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Warriors lose Klay, but then they realize they have to fill a void with shooting. They go out and they trade for Buddy Hield. They bring in Kyle Anderson, which is, a nice complementary piece. He's slow-mo's all right. He's all right. DeAnthony Melton, a younger player. Yeah, and so the Warriors did something. They tried to make some moves at least to kind of push this new team forward. I don't know if this makes them a lot better. Buddy Hield didn't do a lot for. I believe was he in Philly the last season?
Yeah.
He didn't. He wasn't very. He didn't pop off the screen. Didn't do a ton for them last year. It was mainly Tyrese Maxey. So, but I'm curious, what do you think about these pickups, and do you think that they make the Warriors a better team?
I think these pickups are really good for the bench. Buddy Hield is going to come into an offense that caters to a 3-point shooter. We've seen 3-point shooters come to Golden State and have really good years. Uh, coming from other teams. So I think Buddy Hield is going to fit perfectly into the system here because he's going to have the green light of green lights here. There was a stat over the last 5 seasons. He's actually out shooting Curry with 3-pointers made. It's not a large margin, but it's there. So the Warriors are, they fill in that void as far as, missing a 3-point shooter. He's not Klay Thompson, but you get a little something out of him. Kyle Slomo Anderson, let's give it the credit where it's due. It's the greatest nickname for a player ever, but they get a
Yeah.
lot of good defensive out of Kyle Anderson here. And the great thing about it is him and Draymond both fought Rudy Gobert in back-to-back years. There was an incident on the bench with the Minnesota Timberwolves where Kyle Anderson did not, give 2 cents for Rudy Gobert. And then obviously this past season, Draymond went full UFC on Rudy Gobert. So they'll be talking about that during the offseason, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
But Kyle Anderson is a really good perimeter defender as well. He is a really good knockdown shooter from the inside, and can get a bucket when he needs to as well. So this is I wouldn't be shocked if they even moved him to the 2 guard because they still need to fill that role. I don't think Podziemski is the guy to fill it. I think Kyle Anderson would be a better fit for that there. And then DeAnthony Melton, when you hear this name, it doesn't really scream a lot. DeAnthony Melton is a really good defender. And he's a decent 3-point shooter as well. So the Warriors are filling a void with losing Klay. They got 2 players, maybe 3 if you want to include Kyle Anderson, that can at least shoot the basketball a little bit. So you kind of offset what you're missing with Klay, but you get 2 more players out of it here. I like the moves. It's just hard to tell. I think they're missing one additional player to really say that we're not a playing team. Right now, even with these players, they're still a playing team, but I think they're a team that could be in that 7-8 matchup where they can host at least 2 playing games right now. But they're just one player short, who we're going to talk about a little later, to kind of get past that hump there.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even want to talk about the Lakers, but we don't have a choice right now. We'll start with LeBron, of course, picks up his just slightly smaller than max contract to keep the Lakers under the second apron, which gives them the opportunity for their I believe that gives them an additional contract, the mid-level exception. So I think that's all well and good, but the truth be told, him taking a pay cut based on what they've done, they're not really doing anything. Hello, close the door.
Hello.
Yeah. So I don't think that particular move is gonna necessarily help anybody. Let's just call it what it is. This is a complete disaster by the Los Angeles Lakers. They came into this offseason with the potential to make a few moves via trade. They kept both of their draft picks. Whenever they had the opportunity to trade a pick to try to make a move, they didn't do that. Okay, so you get connect. Great, awesome. You spend your second round, pick on Bronny James. Okay, that's great. That means LeBron's coming back no matter what. But then we get to the offs. Now we're into free agency. The Lakers have done nothing except re-sign Max Christie, which I'm not mad at that deal, but they didn't make any of the moves I thought they needed to make on the peripheral, or big moves at least, to make their roster better. The Lakers were in bad need of a solid big to bang against centers like Jokic or Embiid or whomever. AD can't fill that spot. That was a place they needed to get better at. They needed to get better with more shooting. They needed more 3-point shooters, or more guys out there that can play defense and maybe knock down a 3-point shot now and again. They whiffed on that. They weren't able to get Klay. They switched gears to DeMar DeRozan, who ended up signing with the Kings. They didn't really do anything. And I just feel like at this point, they just kind of got to run it back. I mean, they can try to pretend like they're gonna make some type of grandiose play for some player, but it's too late now, man. All the big
Yeah.
names are off the board, and
Yep.
it's too late. Summer League has already started. The Lakers don't even have all of an entire coaching staff yet. We brought in JJ Redick. We only have 3 coaches right now. We got JJ Redick and who did we get? Scott Brooks, and
Yeah.
somebody I can't remember. Alvin Gentry or somebody. I don't know. Someone else. And so we don't even have a full staff. JJ Redick, who it has no coaching experience, should be in summer league coaching these young guys to get some experience. But instead, we don't have a full coaching staff. Summer league sucks. The Connect kid doesn't look nearly as fast or strong against other NBA players. Bronny James is just out there. I don't know what he's doing. He's not doing anything. Let's just be honest. And not that I expected him to, but second round pick, you got to be able to do something. And right now, the Lakers aren't looking like they're making a lot. It doesn't look like they're making a lot of good decisions. I'll just put it like that.
It's this is interesting here because the Lakers had a chance to use some of their pieces that didn't pan out for them this past season
Yeah.
for potential trades. When you look at a lot of the players that changed teams, was a lot of sign and trade.
Yes.
So they had an opportunity to use that to their advantage. That's how a lot of teams stayed within that second apron during this trade or free agency frenzy. You could have moved Rui Hachimura, you could have moved Prince, Martin. It was Martin, right? He barely played at all this year.
Gabe Vincent.
Gabe Vincent, thank
Yeah,
you,
there you
Gabe
go.
Vincent. You had pieces to move to bring in other players. When you look at some of the sign-in trades, it did not take much.
No.
You could have given away a first-round draft pick.
Yeah. What did DeRozan?
And a player.
DeRozan got traded for what?
Nothing. He got traded for a bottle of Gatorade.
Harrison Barnes.
And Harrison Barnes. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers had every opportunity to try to bring somebody in. DeMar DeRozan's from LA. Why not try to get him back home? That would have been a great fit.
So is Klay.
It would have worked. So was Klay Thompson. His dad isn't enough. You and I both sat there and thought, though, he's gonna be going to the Lakers.
Right.
There was everything lined up for Klay to end his career, where his dad was the number 1 draft pick for that team.
Yep.
But the Lakers whiffed on it. They lost to Dallas on that one. All the Warriors got were 2 draft picks out of that.
Not even to mention that before we even get to this point, they got completely played by Dan Hurley. So I mean, this has been the off season. It's been trash, and quite frankly, it's starting to look like either there's something wrong with, the perception of Lakers, or there's something wrong with the Lakers ownership and management. You know what I mean? To where so many players are passing these opportunities over. They don't want to come to LA. Don't want, what's the deal? Are they just not offering enough money? Are they not willing to come off of certain contracts? The Lakers have 15 guys under contract right now. We have too many people on our roster. Yep. We've got Gabe Vincent on our roster who didn't play. We've got what's his name? The Paxton, the center. Can't even think of his name. Who basically picked up his player option. Cam Reddish picked up his player option. All these guys were player options that we gave out. Picked all of them up because this offseason wasn't going to be very splashy, and there wasn't a lot of money out there to spend. At least not like there was. Not as much movement as we saw last offseason. So here we are with all these contracts. The Lakers actually, in my opinion, they have to make a trade. Just because they have too many guys on the roster, and if they want to improve at all, they've got to find a way to take two of those salaries or 3 of those salaries and turn it into something else. And so here we are sitting on a bunch of money they could do nothing with. All they've done is re-sign one player in Max Christie. They're pretty, like I said, it really just looks like they're going to run it back with JJ Redick and whoever else is going to be on this coaching staff. It's pathetic.
Let me ask you this, T. Given if the season was to start tomorrow, with what the Lakers have, where are they right now in this
Look,
in the Western pecking order?
the only saving grace is the idea that the coaching staff and the offensive scheme that they use will be light years better than last year. They have talent on the roster. I'm not going to say that it's not a talented team because going into last year, I thought they would be a lot better than they were. But if just looking at the rest of the West, the idea that JJ Redick is a first-time head coach, it's going to take some time. And Oklahoma got better. You know, they didn't
Oh
get
my
worse.
God, did they ever?
You know,
Jeez,
they got better. So Oklahoma City is a better team. They picked up Herringstein from the Knicks. They picked up Caruso, which gives them a defensive guy on their roster. They're already super young. They've got a young Chet Holmgren. Those guys are primed. Dallas went out and got Klay Thompson. Just went to the finals, right? Didn't waste any time. So yeah, you know, the Nuggets didn't really do anything, but maybe they do as we get into as we get closer to the start of the season. Maybe they make a move to bring in some more roster talent. But dude, my guess is they're going to be back in the seventh, and if they're lucky, they're a seventh, sixth seed. Somewhere if they have a good showing. I'm not saying they can't be great, but LeBron is getting older. Anthony Davis has shown that he can't really carry the offensive load, and even when he did play very well and was healthy for most of last season, they still found a way to be bad. So I don't like it. And like I said, unless something coaching wise just completely flips the script as far as how they play offensively, defensively. With this, it's the same crew. So I'm gonna say 7th, 8th seed, great is good for me. But if they come out and do that crap they did last year, where they went like, 10 of 20 or something like that, they just bottomed out the first quarter of the season, then yeah, they're not going to be very good at all. They'll be in the bottom.
I think the biggest question is what kind of offense are you going to see out of JJ Redick? Because we don't know.
They keep saying they're going to make
but
Anthony Davis the offensive hub. I don't know what that means. Anthony Davis is a quality but not great post player. He's a little bit better with his face to the basket. And so I don't know if they mean they're expecting him to be like Jokic, where he's going to be bodying and passing out of the post and making plays for other people. Where does that put LeBron? I don't know.
I don't know.
The issue is they're a pick and roll team, which they should be, but they lack the perimeter shooters to help space the floor. That's always been the issue. So I don't know if they've solved any of those problems. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what this offense is going to look like because you brought in a coach with no offensive scheme that anyone knows about. Yeah, so that's going to be a very big Jacqueline Hyde thing. It could work out because nobody's ever seen it, or it's going to fizzle because nobody's ever done it.
Right.
You're asking a new group of players who are now seeing a new coach to learn an offensive system that no one knows about. It's up in the air right now. So that's going to be a really big interesting thing for Laker fans and Laker players to really have to get used to with that.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it doesn't hurt that Summer League has been trash as well. So anyway, moving on. So the Warriors may not be done yet. Lauri Markkanen, who currently plays for the Utah Jazz, is a phenomenal young talent with the capability of spacing the floor. He has good athleticism. Good touch around the rim. So just a really all-around modern day big man that I think will make any team better. But the Warriors are out there trying to get him. He's on their radar. I don't know how he pairs with Draymond, but Draymond is undersized and can play 5 or 4. I'm curious what you think about this. My only issue with this is Danny Ainge is going to try to fleece you. And that's the only thing.
100%.
He's going to try to fleece you for every draft pick you ever had. He's going to try to get what the Knicks gave up for Mikal Bridges. If you remember, the Knicks gave up a lot to get Mikal Bridges over to the Knicks. So are the Warriors really willing to give up or part ways with some young talent possibly, and then also draft picks for the next 2 to 3 years?
If it doesn't involve a player, and Danny Ainge is just looking for draft picks to build for the future,
Yeah.
I give him 4 first-round draft picks.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because if we're, as a Warrior fan, if we're looking to keep Moody, to keep Kaminga, to keep Pajemski, Trace Jackson Davis, you want to keep this young core movement for life after Curry and Draymond, do it.
Yeah.
These are all young guys, but you remember, when it comes to young talent, there is a growing period, and there will be a struggle period as well.
Oh yeah.
So are you willing to accept that? Should you go after and go get Lauri Markkanen?
Right.
If they go out and get him without having to lose a player, they're instantly a top. They're not a playing team anymore. I think Lauri Markkanen gives them the opportunity to really space. And you brought up a good point. This modern day big man is a guy who can stretch the floor, get out and hit a three, but also be a little athletic below the underneath the rim as well.
Yeah.
That's what Lauri Markkanen brings as a talent. I think he's just being wasted in Utah. He's not really being used to his full potential.
Yeah.
But I think this would give the Warriors every opportunity to be a better team with him. He's also a really good defender. We don't talk about it as often here, but he is actually a pretty decent defender around the rim as well. And that's what the Warriors have been missing here. So if you could put a lineup out there with the likes of Curry, Pajemski, or even Kyle Anderson, Wiggins at the 3, Draymond at the 4, and Markkanen at the 5.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good lineup that you could roll out there and be confident in.
Yeah.
So I think the Warriors need to really think about, hey, if we want to get to where we need to be, you don't know what your draft picks are gonna turn out in within those 4 years.
They won't be Steph Curry, that's for sure. You're not getting another Steph Curry.
They won't. You're right. There's not another Steph Curry in this market here that's ever gonna come walking out here.
Right.
So it's a risk that I'd be willing to take, knowing that you can have four first-round draft picks for the next 4 years. We don't know what they're going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
They could be absolute duds, and the Warriors would benefit off of it because
Wiseman. Yeah.
Exactly. Wiseman was a second overall pick.
Yep.
Tell me how that went down too. So
it's a
risk that you got to be willing to take, knowing that the next 4 years of talent may not be what you're looking for regardless. So why not just move it now, get what you need for the next few years, and work off of that there, instead of just really trying to overhaul and rebuild the system.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I completely agree with you. He would be a huge pickup. He would contribute to a team that can shoot and space the floor from anywhere, especially with Buddy Hield and obviously Steph Curry. So, yeah, man, if it happens, I think it does elevate the Warriors. Like I said, the only thing is going to be that you're going to get fleeced. But if you're willing to take that hit, man, get it done. Get it done. Get it done.
Hey, man, I'm all for it, dude. Like I said, it's something that you got to be willing to risk, and it's not a bad risk to take if you're just losing draft picks. If you're losing guys like Kaminga, actually, I wouldn't be mind losing Kaminga if it means one player and a couple of draft picks. I think Kaminga's your biggest trade asset. I really think he is. You're gonna get you could really get a good player using him as your trade bait. I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't mind it there.
Yeah. Well, in other news, DeMar DeRozan is leaving Chicago and returning to his home state of California. The only problem is he ain't coming to the Lakers. He's going to the Sacramento Kings. So he will be at a stadium near me. They traded Harrison Barnes and I believe some other picks or something along with it to get him over there. DeMar DeRozan going to the Kings, I don't know what that does for the Kings necessarily. They're a team that has peaked, like, what was it, 2 years ago? When they were the number, what were they, the number 3 seed or something like that? Or I don't remember.
Yep.
And they unfortunately got dropped in 7 games by the Warriors in the first round. This past season, they didn't fare so well. They were in the play-in. And I think Adam DeRozan does give them an element of veteran leadership that they could definitely use. However, dude, the Kings, they don't play any defense. They never have. They play at a very, very fast pace, which helps them out sometimes, but also hurts them. And I'm just not seeing a team over these past couple of years that's ready to make that next step quite yet. I don't know. I think DeRozan will give them a go-to scorer to take some pressure off of De'Aaron Fox. He doesn't really help them too much defensively, however. And again, when you look around the West, this move doesn't really move the needle, in my opinion.
No, it doesn't at all here. If they had gotten DeMar DeRozan maybe about 4 years ago, I would say this was a very good move for them. But the fact that their offense is just too up and down for a guy like DeMar DeRozan here, he may be best if you're just looking to get a bucket and you need to set it up half court. That's your guy to do that there. But other than that, an up and down offense really doesn't help DeMar DeRozan at all.
Right.
Because he getting tired of the old man now. He's not a young guy anymore. You might as well just gone out and gotten Rudy Gay, who the Warriors just randomly cut one.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? But I just don't, you're not losing much. Harrison Barnes, who I find shocking, is still in the league after he left the Warriors. You get a little bit of an upgrade with DeMar DeRozan, but it's not something that's going to elevate you from a playing seed. Right. That's a play-in move right there if I've ever seen it there.
Yeah.
The Kings needed to get a tad bit. They needed to find a player, either right turning 30 or right below 30, something that could hang with that young core. Right. Instead, they're almost north of 40 with DeMar DeRozan. So it's just not something that's really going to help them to say for a long run here. Are they thinking that DeMar DeRozan is going to get them to the conference finals or even to the NBA finals? No, he's not. No,
not at this stage in his career, at least.
No.
I mean, so we got to remember that Chicago team that they put together on paper looked like they would be competitive. Zach LaVine, DeRozan, the center. So it never really panned out. Vujacic, thank you. But it never really panned out. So I don't know. Sacramento though. They'll be meddling. They'll be a team that's kind of in the standings, but. Again, I don't know if they necessarily threaten to do anything big.
Nope.
Who we got next? We got Caleb Martin to the Sixers. That's a nice pickup for the Sixers. A guy who can come off the bench, play defense, plays hard, can put up points. Anybody coming from the Heat, except for Gabe Vincent, who the Lakers got apparently. Probably a good pickup. Boston won a championship and said, nah, we plan on coming back next year. And they don't have any. I don't know if they had any free agents on their entire roster. They've locked up everybody. So to push it further, they locked up Tatum on an extension, $314 million. White also extended 4-year, $125 million. Brown for $285 million. They already locked up Drew Holiday last year for 3 years, $100 and something million. This team, they're looking to stick around and make a nice, solid run. Good for them. And as much as it pains me to say this, they are not going anywhere. This team will have to be dealt with over the next 4 to 5 years for sure, man.
I think Brad Stevens moving to the front office and leaving the head coaching job was probably the biggest move the Celtics made out of all of this here.
Yeah.
Because he's organizing all of this, getting guys locked up before they can't do it anymore. This is huge here.
Yeah.
That's almost $1 billion spent on 3 players.
Yeah.
But that's a core of players there. They made a big time statement with that there, and obviously Tatum getting the 5-year $314 million was icing on the cake. But that shows you the loyalty that they have for these guys to try to run it back, to try to get another championship. When you look at the contract, you're going off of success over the next 5 years. And let's be honest, the East isn't that strong of a conference when it comes to it there. So they're setting themselves up for a really nice run over the next, few years here with this core of players. Now, money may become a little tight, but as long as you enter the playoffs and you can get to the finals, all that money will redo itself.
Yeah.
And plus, the TV contract comes out, I think, in 2 years.
Yeah.
And that is going to take the cap level to a place it's never been seen before for a lot of NBA teams.
Yeah.
And all that's going to do is we are going to see more teams overspend, but that's going to help teams like the Celtics because it gives them a little more cushion to sign more players to continue a run like they're going to try to get on.
Yeah, there's no doubt we're gonna see baseball numbers, man. It's coming. We're gonna start
It,
seeing 500 million, $400 million contracts. We're almost there already.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, man, and so your boy Curry said something interesting, and of course this is probably following the departure of Klay Thompson, but basically saying that that the Warriors are the last great dynasty that the NBA will have. I'm curious and interested in why he said this. I know some of it is the emotional, kind of response to losing Clay and how good those teams were, and I'm sure how great those guys felt playing with each other. But let's take a bigger picture look at that from a macro perspective instead of just Curry being in his feelings for 5 seconds. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. And the Warriors definitely were a dynasty. They certainly dominated for a few years. However, altogether they won 4 championships, which dynasty wise compared to the past it's okay. It's not
Yeah.
it's not quite the dynasty of the Chicago Bulls who won 6. It's not quite the dynasty of the Los Angeles Lakers from the 80s who I believe won 5. Then you had the Lakers in the 2000s who won 3, and then Kobe won two one one excuse me. Kobe won 2 more.
Two more.
So
Yeah.
they won 5. And so I don't know how they look but we're not going to look backwards, we're looking forward because the comment was will it happen again. Dude, we just talked about a team that might do it. I mean, honestly, I'm saying, like, if Boston comes back and they win back-to-back championships next year, they're only a couple championships away from tying what the Warriors have done. And championships are not easy to win, but I mean, this team is young and most of the players are in their prime. I don't know if I can buy into the Warriors being the last great dynasty, and then that's it. I don't think that's it.
I'm not going to look at this from a bias standpoint. I'm just going to look at it from a number standpoint here. But from 2014 to 2019, they were the team in the finals every single year.
Yeah.
It took the Raptors. Injuries. I'm not taking anything away from the Raptors,
Yeah.
but without Clay and without Durant,
KD, yeah.
I don't think the Raptors win that title if those two are on the court here.
No.
Because the Warriors had a lead going into the third quarter before Klay Thompson got hurt.
Yeah.
And then obviously they lost it and the rest was history here. But I think when you look at it from a standpoint of 6 years, 6 NBA Finals appearances, 6 straight Western Conference championships as well, you look at it from that standpoint and it's like that was one hell of a run.
Yeah.
Because that was 6 straight years. When you look at the run by the Bulls, there was a 2-year gap when Michael Jordan left the team to go pursue a different career. That team was not the same once he left. They made the playoffs, but they weren't getting to the championship, to say the least, until he came back. Then they won another 3 in a row here. But the Warriors kept that train riding for so long, to say the least. Now, we could play the whole what-if game. What if Draymond's not suspended for Game 5? What if Klay, that could have been 6 straight titles that we're talking about here. But we're not. And that's just the nature of the beast. That we're not talking about that there.
Yeah.
But the track record of what it took to get to that point there, I think that's what he's referring to as one of the greatest dynasties that were there. Because when you look at the teams that they went through, there was the OKC team with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant.
Right.
There were the Houston team as well.
James Harden.
There was the Portland. There was the James Harden. There was the prime Damian Lillard teams. They went through a lot of
Clippers.
players that
Don't
were
forget
in
the
their
Clippers
prime.
now.
They for some odd ass reason they had a rivalry with the Clippers, which I still don't get to this day how it was even a rivalry when both teams hadn't won anything prior to then. But the teams that they went through to get to the finals was, I think, that was a gauntlet run. The Jazz weren't really much. They blew through them. The Spurs were a team that were on the decline, before Kawhi Leonard left. But when you look at the Rockets, they had to go through them almost every single year. The Blazers played the Warriors almost every single year in the playoffs. So I think when you look at that body of work, I think that's what he's referring to here when it comes to it. But yeah, if the Boston Celtics find a way to go back to back, which we haven't seen since the Warriors went back to back, you could kind of start making the argument that Boston may be the next dynasty in line. I know that kills you as
Yeah.
a Laker fan to hear, but we're also realists when it comes to basketball. They're setting themselves up for it. Now, how do they do it though? That's just going to be the only question.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Oh man. Yeah. So and speaking of dynasty or important teams, um, the Olympic team is looking to be one of the best ever, at least on paper. But the funny story is, one of those great players claims himself to be the number one option on the team. So if you looked up and down the roster for this team and you saw the likes of LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and even all the guys that are on this squad, the one guy who shows up to say something is none other than Ed Edwards. Ed Edwards
Yeah.
believes he is the number one option for Team USA. And I got to respect Ed Edwards for being confident. He's been that way the entire season, throughout the playoffs. That's really been a part of who he is. But I got to tell you, man, what the hell is he talking about?
You know,
I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy for the young man. I really am, and I think he's a great talent. I have no question he's gonna dunk on some Slovenians. That he's gonna cross up some Argentinians. I have no doubt about that. But to pronounce yourself the number one option on a loaded team like this, he's doing a lot, man. I mean, let's remember you play in Minnesota, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, you almost there, but not quite there. So, like I said, I appreciate Ant's confidence, his charisma, but at the end of the day, it's like, just shut up. Sometimes just be quiet. Like we don't want to really hear what you have to say sometimes, and we appreciate you talking mess to other players on the court. But for the rest of us,
yeah,
we don't need you to come out and tell us you're the number one anything, man. Just go out there and play and show us, man. Just shut up.
let's talk about the players that are in his position, to say the least. You brought it up: Devin Booker,
Yeah.
Stephen Curry,
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday. I'll throw LeBron James in that conversation as well. You may find yourself not even starting, bro. Let's be honest with this roster here. This is how I see the starting five for Team USA. Obviously, Steph Curry will lead the charge at point. I see Devin Booker at
Two.
or Kevin Durant probably at the 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have Ron James at the 3,
Anthony
Davis at the 4, and
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid at the 5.
Yep.
I love Anthony Edwards. He's one of my new favorite players in the league here. But if I gave you that 5 starting lineup, you are taking your ass to the bench, and you're maybe the 4th option on this team right now. There's no way I'm putting you ahead of any one of those guys to say you're taking a roster spot. There's no way here. That blew my mind when he said that he was the number one option on this team. Dude, you may be the number one option in Minnesota, but on the likes of this team, you do not stand a chance as the number one option. But I do hope he has his Vince Carter moment where he absolutely dunks on a 7'11", whoever the case may be.
I think he's honestly. I think he's. I think he's thinking he's the number one option off the bench. Is what he meant to say.
I hope so.
I think I think he's the number one option off the bench. That's what he was trying to say. That's exactly what it was. I mean, it must be a misquote. That's what happened. But no,
I hope
man,
that was a misquote. I hope he was joking too, because when he said that, I was like, wait, did I miss something on who's on this roster that you're going to be the number one option for? I missed that part.
Ridiculous, man. All right, so now we got B. I'll let you tee this one up because I'm not going to be very. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. What's this?
What?
What's going on? So Jason Tatum is being compared to who now?
All right. Jason Tatum got his Olympic number number, I think it was yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and it's number 10,
Uh-huh.
and it is obviously Kobe Bryant's only Olympic number. Now, Jason Tatum has been trying to market his game after Kobe, and he is nowhere near what Kobe did at this point where Jason Tatum's at. This
Yeah.
whole notion of Jason Tatum modeling his game after Kobe Bryant, the comparisons need to stop. Just because he's wearing the number doesn't mean he is the next Kobe Bryant. He is nowhere near it. The
No.
man couldn't win his own NBA Finals MVP. He is not a league MVP yet. For all I know, he is Jaylen Brown's second wing. Jaylen Brown is the Celtics from this point
Yeah.
until Jason Tatum takes him forward. So T, you got a Celtic guy being compared to a Laker legend here. How does that make you feel about
Well,
that?
first off, it's absolute blasphemy. I'll start there. I hate to sound like Stephen A. Smith right now, but the dude is a Celtic, man. I don't care who you think you like, but you're a Celtic. You need to lean into that, and because his game is not patterned after Kobe. Kobe Bryant was the
Nope.
best player. Was the best player on his team when Shaq was there. He was elevating, and one of the reasons that Shaq left was because Kobe ran him off. That's how dominant Kobe was as a player. And meanwhile, you and Jaylen Brown, I'm not sure who's the better player on that team. So no, you're not alpha doggy, like Kobe was on the teams he played for.
Yep.
I don't think their game is that similar because Kobe Bryant was a much more ruthless offensive player than Tatum is. Tatum loves jump shots. He likes to take a lot of jump shots. He likes to shoot a lot of threes. Kobe could shoot the three, but he was a mid-range assassin. And the amount of moves that he had in his repertoire with his footwork in the post, in the mid post, in the at the elbow, completely head and shoulders above where Tatum is. I'm not saying that he's not a great player, because Jason Tatum is definitely a great young talent. But we talking about Kobe, hand in my face, pump fake 10 times, still pull up and make the shot, knocking threes down back to back to win the game and go over to overtime, or go in overtime and win the game against the Portland Trailblazers, against Ruben Patterson, who was the Kobe stopper at the time. All of these historical moments that Kobe has, Tatum doesn't have one. And that's what I'm trying to say, is like, he's not that guy. I remember Jaylen Brown hitting that three in the finals. I remember Jaylen Brown hitting that three from the corner. That was a big play. You know what I mean? And he also did that. So yes, he's a great player. I don't think we should compare him to Kobe. I don't think that's fair to Tatum. And he's probably not even the best player on his own team. Okay, so no, and no again. The fact what Kobe did in that number 10 jersey, you can go watch the Netflix, or it's not in Netflix anymore, but the docu.
Yeah, it is.
It is still.
Yeah, I think it's still there.
The docu-series about the Redeem Team, about him coming back, him being number 10, and literally strong-arming that team, running through the chest of his own teammate Pau Gasol to send a message. Dude was on a whole different cerebral level. We cannot compare Jason Tatum to that. I'm sorry. That's the Black Mamba. Okay, that you talking about a brown bunny. That's different. It's not even the same. It's not even the same animal. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just saying it's not even close.
No,
It's not even close. No.
Let me ask you this: If Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are on two separate teams, on national teams, right?
Yeah.
Is Jason Tatum running through Jaylen Brown?
Oh,
is he setting a hard screen?
Not.
He's not doing that.
No. He's like, hey, buddy, it was fun and nice to meet you, and I'm glad we're playing against each other, blah, blah, blah. This was incredible! Some garbage crap like that. No, not at all, man. So, yeah, no, I don't see I understand why people say that, because he likes Kobe, but what's special about Kobe is the combination of the skill set and the mentality. It's not just the skill set. And so unless you can do that, unless you can find a way to have that mindset that Kobe had, then no, you can't make that claim.
Let's keep this in mind too. Kobe had teammates that played for him who absolutely hated him
Yes.
on his own team,
Yes.
but went out and made sure that they knew what they needed to get done in order to give themselves a chance. Kobe did not hide anything. What he requested in practice is the same thing he requested on the court. You do not see Jason Tatum holding his teammates to the same accountability that Kobe Bryant did. And there's still that picture where, he called everybody in the team soft as Charmin.
Yep.
He said, "Why are you guys here if you're not trying to win a championship?" You don't see that from him. So there's
Right.
levels of Kobe that he does not match yet.
Yeah.
That scene in that documentary when he told everybody he was running through Pau Gasol
Yeah.
and no one believed him,
Yeah.
and he still proceeded to absolutely drop his shoulder. And Pau was like, "I knew it was coming."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you set a mark in the league where you're willing to basically kill your own teammate
To win.
to get to something.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Right.
You just don't do that. You have to be a special breed to sit there and go, "I'm gonna kill you," but then we go win an NBA championship the next year.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you gotta be a special breed to want to think like that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. And one of our last topics for the day is going to be one that Brian is just going to absolutely enjoy. And that is the Summer League, which I mentioned earlier. That Summer League sucks if you're a Laker fan. I mentioned, Connect, who they picked up in the first round. All these people standing and cheering. He's such a steal. He's great. He's awesome. And then they put him in. They put him against guys who are actually playing for something at NBA level. He can't get past them. It's a different game. You can't get that first step past him because it's a different game overall. And Bronny was in the same boat, man. He looked lost out there. He had one layup. I think he knocked down one shot, but he missed a couple of bunnies. He missed a couple of mid-range shots that I thought he'd be able to knock down. Pretty much missed every three he took, and really just looked lost out there. He really didn't look like he had a good grasp on what was going on. I thought he would have been a lot better as a playmaker in the pick and roll, but he rarely played point guard. Mostly was in the corner, and I just don't see how at his height at 6'2", he has some shooting potential, has some ball handling capability. If he's not the guy handling the ball, I don't know how he contributes to a team. Not that I expected him to come in and be on the roster or something with the Lakers and play outside the G League, because he's definitely going to the G League. But I just don't see it, man. I've seen the tape. I've seen the workout. He looks great. But in game, he looks lost. And so, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't look... He's got plenty of time. This is just the beginning. We're only 2 games in. But you got to show me something, because you're not playing against other top NBA players. This is everybody's summer league. These are all G League roster players right here. So you got to show me something if you're good enough to be on the NBA roster.
Look, man, this scrutiny is going to come because of 2 things. One, the Lakers wasted a second-round pick on a guy who averaged 5 points a game in college, on average.
Yeah.
Second, you were the son to a living legend of who you're playing with, right? First ever father-son duo in the NBA. Fantastic. But let's put it to you like this: you 4 points in a summer league game here, like you made it sound, T. These are all G Leaguers who are trying to find a way, who've been in the G League for too damn long, who are trying to get to the NBA. Their hunger level is a lot higher than his is right now. And it cannot be like that. You need to at least put up 15 points. I'm sorry. That's what it's going to have to take to even stay out of the G League. Because if he doesn't, you're going to be spending a lot of time down there.
Yeah.
The Lakers aren't going to have time to sit and say, let's throw Bronny James out there so everyone can see him right next to his dad. But if he can't handle this spotlight in the summer league in front of 5,000-6,000 people, imagine what 20,000 people on the road who do not like you, who do not like your dad, do not like the Lakers, the treatment you are about to receive in that arena there is going to be far less different than what it is right now, because all it is just a bunch of people looking at their prospects going, oh, maybe there's one or two roster spots available
Yeah,
on an NBA team. So who are we giving that to? Bronny James has got a guaranteed contract, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be in the NBA come tip off time.
exactly.
There's no guarantee here. I just think we are going to put this guy under the deepest microscope, but because of what the Lakers did to get him and the publicity that comes
Yeah,
with it,
it's gonna
we
get
are going
killed.
to be it's gonna you're gonna have to have some thick skin. His dad went through the exact same thing. The greatest player to come out of one of the greatest players to come out of high school and do it for as long as he did.
Right.
You're gonna have you've got expectations. Now I'm not saying you have to be like your dad, but you have to be something of something close to it here. I don't see it coming out of him. And yes, I am basing it off of 2 games because that's what we did to LeBron.
Yeah.
We did the exact same thing to him. Any great star that comes out, we are putting under a microscope right away to see how you do. And everyone has passed. Right now, he hasn't passed. And shocking development, he's hurt.
I
How do you
saw
get
that.
hurt?
I saw that, man. And
Come
it's
on,
like
man. Come
it's
on.
almost like adding insult to injury as a Lakers fan. We already drafted the kid. Great, you get to play with your dad. Show me something, and it's like nothing, nothing. And our little summer league team looks shot. You know what I mean? Getting blasted by the Warriors summer league team. I don't even know if the Warriors had any draft picks in the first round. And did you guys have a draft? They didn't even have any.
Nope.
And so here we are with who we think are these prospects. And they're not doing anything for us. Again, the optics don't look good. Yeah, he's gonna play in the G League. Now he's hurt. Hey, look, that's great and all. Whatever. I need to see something this offseason from the Lakers. And so far, like I said, I'm not seeing anything. This looks like a complete dud. I don't know what they're doing. So I'm not very happy about it.
And here's the worst part. He cannot do a Victor Wembanyama thing where Victor didn't play the rest of the summer league. He played maybe like 2 or 3 games and then took the rest of it off. You're not that talented.
No,
you
he's
need
not.
this summer league.
No.
You need this summer league to absolutely guarantee a shot.
You only played
Because if
1
you don't,
year.
then
You only played 1 year in college.
He barely played a year.
Yeah,
he barely played a year. He needs to play every single minute. There's no way you are hurt right now in this summer league. If this is a precaution to get you ready for the league, they are doing you nothing but setting you up for failure.
Yeah.
If this is the case for Bronny James, you cannot sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I'll be ready to go for the NBA" when you have nothing to go off of. So you need to make sure, if you are banged up a little bit, make sure your ass is ready to go for Vegas. Because if you're not going to be on that starting roster. And if he is, this is all a publicity stunt, my man. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. There's no way you get 5 points a game, 2 points a game in the summer league, and you're on a starting roster in the NBA. There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like I said, I don't mind them making history. It's just, this is like the tip of the iceberg for all of the other problems that the Lakers have. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing if we had made some offseason moves that improved our roster. I wouldn't give two poops about Bronny James or his scoring. I wouldn't care. But the fact that we haven't done anything, the fact that we don't have a full coaching staff, JJ Redick is not coaching the G League team, even though he has no experience and needs to do something. And then we get these guys, they're out there pooping their pants on the court and can't even beat other G League players. So no, it's not. I'm very disheartened right now. Really, seriously, what the heck is going on, man?
You got anything else?
No,
I think we're right at that time there.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to show off a comic book. I collect comic books, people, and some of these covers.
You got a new one?
Yeah, I got one. I don't think this one is new. This one is. I know it's. Oh, look, check this out. For us? Look at that.
Yo.
So.
Is that Venom?
Yeah. That's Venom with Carnage in his eyes. He's looking at Carnage. You can see the. But I like collecting these what they call virgin covers. It's literally a whole comic book. There's no writing on it that shows it. But this is Carnage #1. This is like from a newer series, but it's a dope cover. Man.
Is that Spider-Man in there too?
No, it's just Venom looking at Carnage, and the Carnage is in his with the reflection
Oh,
of his eyes.
you know what's funny? Carnage looks like a Spider-Man from this distance.
Yeah, they all look like Spider-Man. You know, they kind of they
Yeah.
take after him. And then
That's a dope comic cover right there, man. I like that
this
one.
is classic. You'll recognize these guys. These
Oh
are
my
the
God.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know,
Hey, did you hear
not
that
not
they're
to
about
nerd
to?
not to nerd out too much, but
No, let's nerd out for a little bit because you know why there's the Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin is in production.
oh
It's gonna be the
really?
first rated R.
Oh, I'm
It
ready.
is in production right now, man.
Oh
I
man,
cannot wait for that.
oh, that's gonna be
For
good,
those
man.
who don't know, read the comic of The
It's
Last Ronin
yeah, it's
of
like
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is
it's
very dark
it's brutal,
and it's
man.
great. It's awesome, man. If it lives up to the hype and they don't hold back, dude, that's gonna be an all-time classic right there.
Oh, I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. I'm ready for the even though it's going to be
Deadpool.
more of a comedy. Yeah, the Deadpool Wolverine thing. So, yes.
Yeah.
So for folks who don't know, Deadpool Wolverine, they get into a fight with one another. This is, you know, in the comic book. But the cool thing about both of them is they have a very similar trait. They just kind of keep coming back. They don't die. So that's so it should be fun. We'll see how they do it in the movie theater.
A lot of Easter eggs, to say the least, are about to be unraveled in this movie. I can't wait for it. I'm excited for it.
It's good to see the X-Men, man. I'm so glad to see the X-Men. I feel like their movies have been crapped on because X-Men, I believe, was owned by another. They weren't owned by Marvel. I think they were owned by.
They were owned by Fox. I think it was
okay.
Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, because Sony had owned Spider-Man for a long time and still does own some rights to Spider-Man. So yeah, it's good to see X-Men come into the fold. They really should pivot into that. I mean, that X-Men 97 show was awesome. I don't know if people got a chance to watch that on Disney Plus, but if they don't pivot on that and make a good movie out of it, because to be honest with you, the Marvel movies have sucked butt. The past few that they've made have been kind of trash. So they could benefit from revamping the X-Men and getting them up there, you know?
I hope they bring back I hope they make it look original too. Like, cause you know, Wolverine's going to wear the original yellow costume, or not costume, but suit, I should say. Yeah. So maybe they'll do the rest. Maybe they'll do the rest of the X-Men like that too. That'd be dope. If they do it, I'd be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got a few Wolverines. I'm trying to build on them. These are some old ones I had when I was a kid. This one isn't anything special, but it's just, you know, him with his, I think these are the bone claws. This is after he had his adamantium ripped out of his body by Magneto. It's unfortunate happening, but you know. he survived.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
All right, well, sorry to do that to y'all. I didn't mean to go on a nerd tangent, but there you know, it is what it is.
Hey, we had to, man. That's who we are. We love that kind of stuff.
Right. Oh, man. All right. Well, yeah, folks, I think that's all we got for this evening. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled time this Sunday. So, again, we appreciate you guys. Go ahead and give us a like on the video. If you're on the video and you're thinking, man, that was funny or that was good, go ahead and just smack the subscribe button. It takes just one little click. Just click it.
Yeah.
We really, really appreciate it so we can continue bringing you guys content. Yeah. Thanks a lot, y'all. And we'll see y'all Sunday.
Peace.